Hello. You mentioned your occasion. Hello, Mum, Dad, family and friends, good evening and welcome to you all. As your hosts for tonight, it gives us, Jill and Vic's 3 daughters, enormous pleasure to welcome you all here tonight. As you know, we're here to celebrate our wonderful Mum and Dad's very special golden wedding anniversary. 50 years of marriage is a truly remarkable achievement, and their devotion to each other is an example and an inspiration to us all. Mum and Dad, we wanted to make sure that we chose the most special place for you to celebrate 50 years of marriage. Is anywhere more special than here at the Dorchester? You've always given us the very best of everything possible in our lives. So now is our chance to thank you with a truly magical night to remember forever. Mum, you look absolutely fantastic tonight. Your meticulous attention to detail has certainly paid off, not only for yourself, but for the rest of us too. Every one of us has prepared for tonight with your full guidance, from who's wearing what, right down to the very last shoe and handbag. Do you approve? Yes.
One thing we can safely say about Mum is there is nothing in our family that you are not aware of. From health to relationships to who has been where, when, and with whom. Honestly, Mum, you are the very centre of our family, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Only last week, when Molly and I were almost outside the front door to your flat, you joined in with our conversation. Molly was shocked. How did Grandma hear that? To which I replied, Grandma can see and hear everything. We can't let this evening go by without mentioning it is, of course, Dad's 70th birthday this Thursday. We don't think there can be a fitter 70-year-old than you. Your tennis playing, swimming, and now golfing prowess put us all to shame. And you actually enjoy all that exercise. Not only is Dad the most gentle of men, both professionally and personally, he always goes through life with a truly infectious sense of humour. You are always the first person to have a laugh with. And this has got us all almost into trouble on many occasions. We now know better than to catch your eye when there is a moment that requires decorum. One wrong glance and the uncontrollable giggles begin. But again, we wouldn't have it any other way. Happy birthday, Dad.
We all know that raising your family over the years has been a great source of delight and pride for you both. That includes not just us 3 girls, but your 7 grandchildren and 3 sons-in-law too. We have all received from you your time, patience, wisdom, and most importantly, your love. You both have your own special, unique qualities, but it is your bond as a couple that makes you truly remarkable. We hope you both have a fantastic night tonight, surrounded by your closest friends and family, and of course, each other. All that remains for us to say is that we hope you all have a wonderful evening too, and thank you for celebrating a very happy 50 years of marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding. The toast is Jill and Vic. Very happy anniversary.
Jill and Vic.
Hi, David.
Grandma and Grandpa met for the first time in August 1959, while Grandma was away in summer camp in Bournemouth with her friend and her parents, Billy and Alf. Billy and Alf came to visit, and they stayed in the same hotel as Grandpa, who was also staying with his parents, Ray and Ivor. Grandma was 14 and Grandpa was 15, and all the young people sat together, but they didn't sit, they jived all night long. Who is that? That's not Vic. Can't be.
Justin Bieber.
Same amount of hair. Grandma was wearing a yellow and white gingham off-the-shoulder dress with can-can petticoats and white pearl-eyed shoes. All the rage in the 60s. They knew there was something special between them from that first night. You could say it was love at first sight. Unfortunately, though, they didn't see each other again until January 1961, when history repeated itself as they danced together all night long at a bar mitzvah. At the end of the night, Grandpa asked for Grandma's phone number and called the very next day asking for a date. They went to North Finchley Cinema to see The Devil at 4 o'clock.
Did they find him?
From very early on, they knew there was something special. They were very young, but both wanted to get married. So on the 27th of October 1963, Grandma's 18th birthday, they got engaged. And they had not one, but 3 engagement parties. They've always known how to celebrate. On the 2nd of May 1965, Grandma and Grandpa got married in Norris Lee Shore, followed by a reception at the Brent Bridge Hotel. Hold on, we've got a technical difficulty. Right. It was a wonderful wedding, topped off with their friends decorating the blue Triumph Herald with cans and lipstick, waving them off. They started their lives together in their new home in Garrick Drive, Hendon. Grandpa was still studying at the Royal Dental School, so this meant that the honeymoon had to wait until the end of term.
So, in August, the newlyweds set off across the channel in their Triumph Herald convertible. Unfortunately, the car broke down somewhere in the middle of France, forcing them to stay in a remote hotel, where they were shown to their room through a courtyard full of chickens. Needless to say, they went elsewhere. After the dramas of the journey, they finally reached Nice, a suitably glamorous location for such a beautiful young couple. It was a sign of things to come that they splashed out on their last night, staying in a luxurious hotel. Fast forward to 1967. Grandpa was still a student when their first daughter, Sarah, was born on the 19th of July. This was an incredibly special time, as not many new dads then had the chance to be at home with their family during those precious early days. On the 5th of February 1970, Lucy, their second daughter, came into the world. They lived in Holland Walk, Stanmore.
Hold on.
I remember that.
They lived in Holland Walk, Stanmore. Grandpa has always loved swimming, so installed a pool in the garden. This was a lucky decision as Grandma was 9 months pregnant during the heat wave of 1976, with Sophie being born at the end of August. During the 70s, Grandma and Grandpa fell in love with America, and it became a regular feature of their holidays. In 1975, focus on the hat that he's wearing. In 1975, they went on a wonderful trip to America and Hawaii. And it was on a trip that they met Alan and Vicky for the first time. Thank you for being here today. For the first time, leading to an amazing friendship spanning over 40 years. Grandma and Vicky hit a great idea that no one else had had at the time, and Party Time opened in Edgware in 1976. Their business was such a success that a few years later, they even opened a second shop in Temple Fortune. However, Grandma soon realized that running a business wasn't quite enough. So, on the 28th of August, Sophie was born. Only 2 months later, they moved to Alma Drive. There were lots of pool parties, New Year's Eve parties, and even a surprise for Grandpa's 35th birthday there. Wow, that was a long time ago. We're now heading on 70. Anyway, that was the first time he was presented with This Is Your Life book. Growing up, there was fantastic for three girls surrounded every weekend by their four wonderful grandparents, unfortunately Billy, Alf, Ray and Ivor. Even though Grandma and Grandpa both worked hard, they always were doing the school run, watching dance displays and suffering through everyone's horse riding and a particular favourite of parents' evening. Always a favourite. Sarah, Lucy and Sophie would like to apologise for these now. If it's not too late. Together, they guided their three daughters through their teenage years and hopefully came out with relatively unscathed. Poor Grandpa having to share a house with 4 women. Daddy, count yourself lucky.
I always do.
Okay. In 1981, the family moved to Bentley Way, complete with 1 avocado bathroom, which I didn't know was such a thing until this evening, and a turquoise one, which I still don't understand. Family holidays were the priority. The fun started when the chauffeur-driven limousines arrived to whisk the family off to the airport in style, as the Hillman sisters like to do, clearly. From 2 weeks every Easter, staying at the Contemporary Resort in Florida, where the Hillman clan discovered their continuing love for Disney, to spending every summer in the house in Laguna Beach. Here, they enjoyed the living in California lifestyle, going to the beach every day, boogie boarding, and eating tuna and alfalfa sandwiches that Grandma had made and packed up in their igloo cooler. God knows what that is. Even Grandpa enjoyed roller skating around Arna Point in the evenings. They particularly enjoyed Sophie roller skating over their feet.
With their 3 girls at Heathfield School, the next few years were spent building up their dental practice together. It is a testament to the strength of their marriage that they happily spent all day together at work and still wanted to be with each other the rest of the time. Apart from when Grandpa was playing tennis, swimming or horse riding, that is. During this time, they continued pursuing their love of travelling, from the Far East to Egypt, Australia to Barbados. They even had time to buy a fabulous holiday home in Marbella. They made many wonderful memories there, from that incident with the chocolate and cream waffles at the aqua park with Leslie and Tony, to eating sausage rolls and prawns pill on the beach with Francis and Irving. In 1989, after let's call them discussions about a vision, they saw Lucy go to London University. Even though Grandpa said no one would ever be good enough for their daughters, they always made everyone feel so welcome and treated Richard, Spencer and Andrew's family from the first day they met them. In 1990, they made the first of 3 wonderful weddings. Sarah and Richard got married at the Inn on the Park. Grandma and Grandpa were celebrating their 25th anniversary that year, as Sarah and Richard do this year. It is hard to believe that such a young couple were making their daughter's wedding, so it was even harder to believe when they became grandparents at aged 49. Savannah was loved by all the family and spent so many happy hours being the centre of attention. The family was added to with my birth on Grandma's 50th birthday. Grandma and Grandpa waited outside the hospital room, and at 10 p.m. I was born, just in time to share that special day. We now always hold joint celebrations together. We have spent so many happy holidays together. I remember digging on the beach with Grandma and Grandpa at the Mare Panetta in Italy when Savannah and I were little, just like Mum and Auntie Lucy and Sophie used to do.
This was a time of great change. As well as becoming grandparents, Sophie went away to Manchester University, and they were left with an empty nest. This, however, did not last long, as Lucy and Spencer moved in. In 1995, after the requested 5-year gap, Lucy and Spencer got married and another fabulous wedding was made, this time at the Landmark. This coincided with Grandma and Grandpa's 30th anniversary. Mum and Dad are catching them up now by celebrating their 20th anniversary this weekend. They always loved sharing their anniversaries together and even met up on their honeymoon for an evening in Barbados together. A year later, in 1996, they moved to the Lees, Hampstead Garden suburb, and Dominic, the first boy of the family for 51 years, was born. He had no choice but to become an instant Spurs fan and join Grandpa watching and talking about football continually. Next grandson, Thomas, was spared that honour, luckily for him, because he had no interest in it. Lucy kept them very busy by also having me 2 years after that. We all love spending time with our grandparents and have amazing memories of so many holidays spent together. We even managed to get them to Orlando in August, which, for those of you who know what Grandpa is like in the heat, just goes to show you how much they love us and want to be with us, even if it means schlepping around Disney in 100 degrees.
One of the most amazing and memorable times was when they took the entire family to Barbados this year in the millennium. It was a truly incredible holiday, filled with lots of fun and laughter. From Dad's first attempt at water skiing to a party on the beach for Thomas's first birthday. 6 years after Lucy's wedding, Grandma and Grandpa made their 3rd wedding. Mum and Dad got married in 2001 at the Savoy. They really were experts by this point. In 2004, I was born. Another example of how much our grandparents wanted to be with us came when, at 3 months old, The Temple family moved in with them for a wonderful couple of months. Grandpa was even the first person to witness me walking on my first birthday. 2005, time for another holiday en masse. Yes, time to celebrate their 40th anniversary. Where else but Disney World, followed by Turks and Caicos. A year later, in 2006, their final granddaughter, Daisy, was born. Still, they were such young grandparents. 7 grandchildren and only 60 years old. We have all been so lucky to share amazing times with them. From having them at our houses day to day, tea together every weekend, with cakes always freshly baked by Grandma, to weekends at Centre Parks and Christmases on the beach in Barbados. Better, more loving, caring and devoted parents and grandparents you would be hard to find. They've been there with Sarah, Lucy and Mum through all the ups and downs of having young children, from first steps to school achievements, and now to university and work. They completely and utterly, simply love us all. Not only were they always there for their children, they were also equally devoted to their own parents, including them in Friday night dinners and family get-togethers. Sarah, Lucy and Mum were even lucky enough to have many of their grandparents at their weddings. Grandpa too has a special bond with his brother Stephen, and he and Grandma love going out for dinner with him every week. So, now we have come to the latest era in their lives, a beautiful new home in Mill Hill which they love, surrounded by wonderful friends, new and old, but also facing new challenges with positivity and determination, as we have come to expect from them. Nothing was ever going to stop them celebrating their golden wedding anniversary with all the most important people in their lives. Jill and Vic, this is your life.
Well done.
Because I've known Victor and Jill less time than any of you, but I feel very honoured and very privileged and very grateful to be invited on to spend this special evening with you. Although I like to think I speak for everyone when I say we'd all have liked to have seen fewer pictures of Victor with his shirt off and more of Jill in that situation. But let's hear it again for all their grandchildren who did the most fabulous job up there under difficult circumstances. Wonderful grandchildren. Victor, I met Victor because he's my dentist. Don't look too closely at my teeth. As I'm sure you all know, he charges way too much. Anyone who has a dentist, I work in TV, I'm a millionaire. He has better holidays and more often than I do. So that should tell us all something about what's going on there. But I spend a lot of time with Victor playing tennis, and I spend a lot of time with Jill when Victor's playing tennis, and we have very different relationships, but very fulfilling. As you know, they have their 3 lovely daughters here this evening, but they've got a suite upstairs, so there may be a 4th on the way, fingers crossed, to go with the new royal baby. But I just want to say the one thing that's really impressed me, and the reason why I adore them so much, is what is apparent as soon as you spend any time with either Victor or Jill, is how much they love their family, how much that is the only thing really that matters to them. And that's something which strikes a chord to me, and I'm sure all of you. They have a wonderful family, and the reason they have a wonderful family is they are wonderful parents and wonderful grandparents. So let's once again say congratulations to Victor and Jill and their whole family. Jill, I'll see you upstairs. I've got the suite next door. I'm the warm-up man tonight. But congratulations.